Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of With Conviction, a story of hope, horror, and history. My name is Rain, my pronouns are she, her, and I'm your GM for this adventure. With me are my hurting heroes for this campaign. Why don't you all introduce yourselves?
Hi there, I'm Alice. I use she and they pronouns, and I play Desdemona Hartwood, who also uses she and they pronouns. Desdemona is a rose heart guardian. She's a gothy, punky magical girl with a heart of pink, and I think she's the least hurt right now. Still hurt.
Well, that's appropriate, I guess, because my name is Skylan. My pronouns are they and them, and I play Chris Whitlock, whose pronouns are she or any. Chris is our second least / second most hurt hero at the moment, and is our extremely sporty magical Nada girl, who is our firebrand artillery, and is currently sitting on the grass with Eliza.
And Eliza is played by Rob. Rob is me. My pronouns are he, him. Eliza's pronouns are she, her. Eliza is our fiery and a little frosty stalwart soul magical girl who is having a bad time. As a minor note, I have a new microphone, so if I sound different, that's why.
The last we left you all, you had finished your fight with the rider, and Hazel had appeared to join you in full command of the light. Nobody was particularly happy about this except her. Desdemona didn't trust her. Eliza seemed quite hurt, and Chris was terrified to lose Hazel again. You had returned to Desdemona's place to recuperate, and in the process, Hazel conjured a visage of faith which seemed to just break Eliza. There were some very fierce and emotional conversations that were had, and Hazel and this appearance of faith left, and Eliza and Chris were on their knees in the driveway, if memory serves, with some tears.
I think Chris squeezes Eliza around the shoulders, gives her a small smooch on the temple, and gets up. She wipes the tears from her eyes. Eliza,
Yeah?
I'm not giving up. And I can't sit here and do nothing. And she turns to walk down the driveway after Des and Hazel. It's about 20 steps before that walk that is pained turns into a jog, which is at first stilted, and then she gains the rhythm back, and it turns into a full-out sprint.
You catch up to Des pretty quickly.
She brushes right past Des.
You get to the bottom of the driveway and are quite nearly struck by a car pulling into the driveway, which abruptly comes to a halt, and you can see Jesse climbing out.
Shit. Jesse?
Chris, you okay? Oh, you are not okay. Okay. Here, get in the car. Let's head back up. Do you have somewhere to lay down?
Des lands next to them, like drops out of the air, and Goes, yeah, she does. Back at my house.
Oh, you weren't kidding about the pink. My condolences. Yeah, let's head back there and lay down.
Jesse, I am getting in this car, and you are turning around.
Yeah, no, you're going back to the house.
You don't
Des.
look like you're in any shape to do anything.
They aren't.
I don't care.
Well, I do, and I'm the one whose car it is.
Fine. And she just tries to walk past them both.
Jesse catches you by one arm and pulls you into the passenger seat. And Jesse drives the two of you back up the driveway. Eliza, what are you doing?
As Jesse's car is pulling up, their headlights briefly play over the door to the pool house, which Eliza is opening right now.
Indeed. As you walk inside, you look around at this place, which has been, at the invitation of your friend's parents, been converted into a place for you to stay as long as you're in Winchester. You've been staying here. When did you move to Winchester?
Eliza moved to Winchester in August, but wouldn't have moved into here until around the third week of September.
Okay, that makes sense. All of your stuff has been settled in here, and it's had time to make little niches for everything. You've got your conspiracy board, you've got your guitar, and you've got a corner for your computer and stuff. You don't have an apartment here, so you've been able to make a nice space out of this. It's a nice little flat.
We do briefly see Eliza pause and look at the brackets on the wall where she usually hangs her sword. And once again, she does that gesture that she does to summon it when she transforms, and nothing happens. And then she turns around, and so Eliza's bed is enclosed by curtains to sort of section it off from the rest of the pool house. And one of the things that's happened in the last 3 months is that she and Des have gotten used to playing music up here. Des's keyboard is set up along with Eliza's guitar.
And I think you actually, around the time of the party, you had actually played music with the rest of the group, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so Hazel's bass would be here too. You can see that sitting against a wall.
We just get a shot of Eliza walking up to the bass with her eyes narrowed. And then I think the camera cuts away.
So, as Des and Chris and Jesse arrive at the pool house, what are you doing?
Do you know how many times I've lost her, Des? Do you know how many times I've failed her?
What's the plan?
That freezes Chris. She purses her lips and... I don't have one.
Right. There's no plan. So, right now, all three of us need to get some rest. Eliza isn't going to get better super quickly. You need to spend time with Jesse. Tell them what's going on. Jesse, I'm begging you to talk a little sense into Chris so that we can help Hazel. I need to go spend time with my dad. Maybe punch something. I don't know. I feel as awful about this. Maybe not as awful about this as you do, Chris. But right now, I'm the only one of the three of us still standing.
Chris gestures to herself, standing, and glares at you.
There's a crashing noise that comes from the pool house.
From Eliza?
Yep.
I think I know exactly what just happened.
I think Des, without taking her eyes off of Chris, goes, Eliza, you okay?
I'm fine.
Des looks at Jesse and goes, please shout if Chris tries to make a run for it. I'll take care of it, but I need to go check in on Eliza real quick too.
Jesse pulls Chris into a hug and gives Des a reassuring nod. I'll let you know.
Des trods over to the pool house, peeks inside. What is she seeing?
Well, the first thing she sees definitely gets her attention because it's the two halves of Hazel's base thrown out the door to the pool house, only held together by the strings. And then it's immediately followed by the red shape of Eliza's own electric guitar. And if she gets any closer, she sees Eliza just collapsing face first onto a couch in the pool house. She can also see it's December, but it hasn't gotten cold enough to freeze yet. There is frost spreading across the windows of the pool house.
Des slowly walks over and sits down just next to Eliza. Doesn't say anything right away.
Eliza eventually rolls herself up and just looks at words. Eliza eventually rolls over and just looks up at Des with tears sort of frozen to her face.
At the risk of sounding insensitive, how you doing, Eliza?
Well, let's see. The woman that I made my mission to save after I got here turned out to give herself over to the light, and she killed Faith and replaced her with a fucking light puppet, and also cut me off from Tilly, so I'm never going to be able to see Tilly again. So yeah, I'm doing great. How about you?
Honestly, pretty angry. I know that wasn't a sincere question, but yeah, pretty angry with Hazel. I do get it. For what it's worth, I don't think Faith is dead. And we're gonna get her back, and we're gonna at least get some stern words in with Hazel. If those stern words happen to involve your sword or my fist, that's also cool. But we
It's really good right now.
Yeah. But right now, none of us are in the position to get her back. And not to pour salt on the wound, but you don't have a great way to get back on your feet. I think we can help that a little bit, but what we need right now is for Chris to stop fighting and relax enough for the two of us to get Faith back so that we can bring our full strength to bear on Hazel.
Okay. Um, I'll be up here when you want me. Eliza sits up and reaches over to a nearby chair, and she grabs the big plushy shark that Des bought her on a trip to IKEA a while back, and just kind of hugs it to herself. And says, "I'll be okay. I've got Tamio."
Okay. Well, I'm gonna be uh working some things out with the help of my dad. And um Chris, I will physically restrain her myself if I need to. Uh, You are gonna rest. Do you need food? We can probably get like some pizza or something.
It's like 1 a.m. I'm just gonna go to bed.
All right. You you have your phone, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You call me if you need anything at all, or text me, and I have to go take care of Chris real quick and then take care of myself. And then we got some work to do.
Okay. Good luck holding Chris down.
Yeah. I've got some thoughts on that, but thanks. Uh Des gently like pats Eliza on the head and walks outside.
As a minor note, Eliza's head was very cold to the touch.
Internally, Des is like, that's probably not a good sign.
Jesse looks up from where they're sitting. Uh, hey, is it okay if Chris crashes at your place? Since we're here.
Not only is it okay, I was going to insist on it, actually. Easier to keep an eye on them.
Chris lifts a hand very small and says, I want to go home.
I'm real sorry, but until I know that you're not going to go charging off after Hazel, uh, until we're both good and ready, uh, I want you here.
Chris's shoulders drop from a tension that I don't think even she had noticed. Fine.
All right. Up you get. Let's see if we can't get something sorted out.
Yeah, I assume Desdemona's parents are, or at least her dad, is still awake.
Yeah, by the time that you all get back into the house, some cots have been set up for y'all.
Okay, great.
Chris's face is very wet when it lands in Dez's shoulder.
She wraps Chris in a big hug.
She was supposed to be team.
Yeah, and we're gonna explain that to her very directly, very soon. But I need my captain at full strength for that.
Chris leans her head against Dez's chin and pulls away with frustrated acceptance, but a sense of maybe renewed purpose on her face. Alright. Where am I sleeping?
And so you all lay down, and I don't know how much sleep each of you gets. The morning comes. So who's doing the cooking, and what are they cooking?
That's a really good question.
I think this house has by now developed rules about Eliza being in the kitchen.
That is almost certainly the case. To say nothing of the fact that Eliza definitely kept trying to cook things with her fire magic.
Mm-hmm. It works on toast.
I can't decide if Desdemona should be good at cooking. Actually, I have decided. Desdemona is good at cooking exactly one thing:
I think I
Pancakes?
know what it is.
pancakes.
Yeah.
You guys got it.
All right, that answers that question. That answers both of those questions.
So Des is making pancakes. I think if someone else, if Chris wants to help with making non-pancake items, that's good.
Can I help?
Sure. I assume you can make some eggs.
Point me to the pan, the knives, the spatula, and the... I can find the fridge.
Des is trying to. She points to the first thing that Chris asks for, points to the second thing, and then starts rapidly crossing her arms over each other to try and point to everything.
Okay. Okay. I can figure it out, I guess.
Eliza wanders in to get a glass of water, and she just fills it from the fridge dispenser thing, and then starts drinking it quickly because she realizes as she's holding it, it's starting to freeze.
Fridge dispenser thing, the height of luxury.
I think Chris does notice the water. Do I need to change your nickname, Eliza?
Eliza looks at the spreading crystals in her glass. Just probably.
Yeah, hey, do we know what's going on with that there? Not that it's not haha super cool, but uh
I don't know. It's never done this before.
okay, well, we will get to that, I guess. Not that it's not a priority, but I think getting you back up and running is my top priority anyways.
Yeah, I'm given to understand that Chris is mine. Jesse's standing in the doorway.
Chris turns away from Eliza and starts cooking. There's apples that get sliced deftly. There's eggs that get cracked also deftly. There's a moment where Des can actually tell that Chris is not thinking when this happens. It is just her hand goes into the fridge with an assumption of where there might be something. She does not find it and has this moment of, right, not my fridge. Do you have bacon?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we do. Here. She kind of scoots up next to Chris and rummages through the fridge with him.
Once that's found, she cuts the slices in half lengthwise so they fit better on the pan and puts that next to the eggs. And it's pretty quick for all of that to perfume the house.
Eliza is sitting at the kitchen table, kind of just looking through her phone, since she's not allowed near the cooking.
As Chris cooks, her shoulders continue to droop. But she pushes through and makes sure that she helps.
So, once breakfast is on the table, what do you all do?
To my mind, I think we're kind of eating a little silently when this happens.
That tracks.
Yeah. I think there's a moment where Chris looks up at Jesse, who I assume we invited Jesse in for breakfast.
I would assume so.
Be kind of wild if you didn't. Thanks for coming over and helping. Anyways, good luck with breakfast. So, plan such that we have one. I think it should be along the lines of we, Chris and I, spend some time with our people, get back up to, full strength, and then we're gonna go get Faith. Step one.
Oh, where?
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
You don't get it. That. Look, remember what happened to Hazel? How she'd been broken into pieces and those pieces were held by the monsters?
Yeah. And I remember getting her back too.
Yeah, I don't think that's what happened here. We're just assuming that it's going to be easy, that we're going to get Faith back just because we want to. But as far as I can tell, Hazel killed Faith.
I don't believe that, Eliza. I won't believe that.
I don't think that's what happened either.
Jesse speaks up to Eliza. Does that sound like the Hazel you know?
Well, look at it this way. We all forgot Hazel back in September, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all remember Faith right now.
Right, which means she's probably trapped in the gray somewhere.
We closed the
Hasn't
gray.
Yeah, but Hazel's one of them now, right? So she's got her own? That's how
Shit,
that works?
Jesse's just got a lost look on their face.
that phone call cut off.
Oh. The glass of water next to Eliza suddenly is a little bit more liquid.
So there is hope.
No, Faith.
Well, there's definitely love.
Shit.
God damn it.
Uh,
So, We have to find where Hazel's Gray is. That clearing! After the party, remember? That was where the monster came from and we tracked...
Eliza, that phone call cut off when we were in the gray with the rider.
Yeah?
Meaning,
Meaning, wherever Hazel was at that time is where her gray is. Because Hazel and Faith were always on the phone with us.
Mm-hmm. And they would have been at your place, right? In Hazel's room? Oh.
Chris shakes her head, uncertain.
I guess we do need to check and see whether your place is okay.
We need to track down where Hazel is going. Or where she is right now. You don't happen to have, Find My Friends enabled with her, do you, Chris?
Chris blinks and pulls out her phone to look and see. I think the answer here is no. And she shakes her head eventually.
That would have been too easy.
Chris gets up and paces around the table a little bit.
Eliza, every time that Chris went behind her, expected Chris to say goose and then run.
You remember when you carried me out of the gray? I didn't know you. You didn't know me. We stayed here. I drove home the next morning.
Right?
Eliza, I put the address into my phone, because I assumed I didn't know how to get home from here. I didn't look at the navigation at all on the way home. My body knew, even though I didn't. If there's a place Hazel is, I can find her.
All right.
Just put me in the driver's seat.
Are you speaking literally there?
Yes.
Well, driving it is then. Is your car here?
Chris looks at Jesse.
We can use mine.
All right.
Do we want to jump right into this? I mean,
no. Des has been horking down pancakes while this discussion has been happening. And she finally swallows and goes, this is good. This is progress. But we still need to do the recovery bit first before we go charging off.
right, so how does that work? I don't know. How does magic recovery work?
Pretty sure you wish on a star or something.
You know, if you could get us the rules for that, we would be so grateful because we have no idea. None of this came with a handbook or anything.
Yeah, no source book, no convenient website that you can download it from with a link in the description.
No really nice podcasts so you can have an example of how it's supposed to go.
No funny pun name with some really cool people doing the pod. Anyways,
no beautiful graphics.
made by some very talented
Okay.
artists. No, we kind of know. Eliza told us when we first started doing this that spending time with specific people who are important to us will let us recover uh not pretty darn quickly.
Actually, not what I said. I just said it was like taking care of yourself. I hadn't figured out the whole other people thing. That was you two.
Oh. Well, either way, the point is we know that much.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't have to do some kind of ritual with a chant or whatever.
I
No, it's.
mean, it
Okay.
might
I mean,
help.
if you want.
I always feel better after we go climbing.
All right. Climbing it is then.
Thanks again for coming by on such short notice, Jesse.
Sure.
I'm gonna go find my dad.
Before we go, I've got to say one thing. If we're getting Faith back, it really needs to be today. Because if we don't have her back by the end of the day, I'm gonna go talk to her parents. Because out of all of us, they're having the worst time of it right now. Their daughter is missing and they don't know why.
Well, come on, Jesse.
Yeah, let's go.
Can I drive?
Sure. So, who's doing what?
Des is gonna track her dad down and get her downtime, her recovery with her dad.
I think you're able to catch up with him around lunchtime. He's coming back from some meetings he apparently had. Hey, kiddo. Were you able to work everything out last night?
You could say that. Uh, we are still working on it, but uh, I need a break, and I need to spend some time with you.
Oh, um, I assumed you were going to call up one of your friends or something. You said something about that last night.
Yeah, that I was talking about you.
Well, I'm glad.
Yeah,
So,
I'm. Go ahead.
what do you want to?
Mm,
How does this work?
we need to hang out. That's the most I figured out. Um, I kind of want to punch something. Uh, any ideas what I could hit really hard?
He thinks for a minute. I think I heard something about a rage room in town. How does that sound?
Long as I can hit something.
Do you want to break something?
Mm, I want to punch something
Okay.
with my fists, and her shield pops out, and with this.
Right. Yeah. Still. Okay. So, do you like care if that's something you do publicly? I don't.
Ideally, not publicly.
Okay. Then we can set something up at home.
Great.
You know what? I think I have some old potato sacks. I could probably set up a punching bag. If I can get some hand wraps to keep you from bruising or cutting yourself up, that should be able to do that.
Des kind of flexes and goes, I don't think I'll need the hand wraps. But nice try, Dad. I know potato sacks are made up. They only put those in cartoons.
He rolls his eyes. He kind of rustles your hair and continues eating. So I can set that up after work if you want.
Sounds great.
Cool. And Eliza, do you do anything as the day passes?
I think Eliza is making a trip to the mall down in Winchester.
Okay.
And she does text the Pancake Squad group chat and ask if anybody wants to come with. But I get the sense that everybody else is doing something else already.
Well, this would be during the afternoon.
Yeah.
So Des hasn't had a chance to spend time with her dad yet. So Des might be able to go, but I get the sense that Chris would be busy.
Yeah. Des, are you coming along for this?
Sure, I'll tag along.
All right. So yeah, I think Eliza volunteers to drive, and when they get to this mall, now Rain, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm picturing a fairly standard mid-sized city mall that hasn't quite died yet, or maybe is doing okay.
It's a decent mall. It's got 3 wings to it. It's usually pretty quiet. It is definitely in the process of dying, but it's not dead yet. And because I know this can vary, it only has 1 floor.
Okay. Yeah. The particular store that Eliza is going to the mall for is one that's called a Golden Record, and it's a combined like record store and instrument store that moved in when something else closed for the sake of the space. As they're walking in, Eliza's just kind of chatting and just says, I used to spend time in malls like all the time back when I lived in LA.
That tracks. A lot of Hot Topic.
Yeah, and Rosa would take me to them a bunch. It was kind of our normal afternoon thing.
Wait, crap! I just realized Des probably doesn't want to go with because she's still transformed.
I
Oh,
mean,
does she not detransform?
No, because she's gonna be transformed for the scene with her dad.
she could change.
Oh, that's a good point. Then it's just pink hair. Okay, yeah. I think that's what happens.
Okay.
All right, yeah. So Des is in civilian clothes at this point. Yeah. Eliza did manage to change at some point. She's still in her vest, but it's different pants, different shirt. She's not just wearing yesterday's clothes.
Also good.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I guess I was kind of a mall person a lot. Yeah. And this is just kind of. I feel the need to relax a little bit after everything,
Yeah, I would call that more than fair, my friend.
Plus, there's this Stratocaster I've had my eyes on for a while, and well, now I have an excuse. And I think that's what she says as she walks into Golden Record.
You walk in, there's instruments all over the place. There's a keyboard with a note that says "No Black Parade." This means you, and it's a picture of you two.
Good.
Can we pose for a selfie with this particular image?
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
And Eliza does, in fact, buy the Stratocaster she's had her eyes on for a while now. It's a bit of an upgrade from her last guitar. Mostly it's a dark red with a white trim instead of the standard red that she's been going for. And she thinks the sound quality will be better based on the time she's tried it. So, yeah, she doesn't even blink at the over $1,000 price tag.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's what those cost.
Yeah, I was looking at guitar prices yesterday, and oh my god, a new high
Yeah.
quality one? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when the person at the check stand who probably recognizes her asks, she just says, "Yeah, I had a bit of a Pete Townsend moment."
They look so concerned at that, but don't say anything. It's like it's your money.
And they head out. Eliza's got the guitar. I think she's like hasn't unboxed it yet, but she's definitely holding it in front of her. So, thanks for coming along.
Yeah, of course. I look, I'm pissed. I'm angry, but you and Chris, you're hurting real bad.
I don't think Chris gets it yet.
Gets what?
She still thinks this is going to work out okay.
Well, sorry to not be a huge pessimist, but I also think it's going to work out okay.
Eliza looks up at Des and just, "You're really ruining my whole 2006 Downer MCR fan thing with your optimism."
Hey, call it payback for that time you almost physically dragged me out of my room when I was not feeling great.
Okay, that's fair. And I think that's the moment for me to roll relax.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's a good
All
idea.
right. And I have
Follow-up
not been.
question.
Mm-hmm.
Are you leaving slightly frosty footprints?
I think so still.
Excellent.
But let me I rolled a 7 for relax. So, Rain, rules question. Does relax clear down?
I'm gonna say because you're no longer at your stress cap, I'm going to say yes.
Alright, so I'm now at 6 out of 7 stress and 4 out of 5 darkness.
Okay.
So, still ready to fall over at any given moment. And this is a narrative thing I'm going to put in. The only thing that got Eliza to not be completely stressed out to the point of uselessness was the fact that Des came along. And in fact, it's dependent on how hopeful Des is. Eliza can currently access her powers and transform, but she depends on Desdemona being there for that to work. And she also doesn't know that fact yet until she tries.
Aw.
Gotcha.
So, a partial success on relax. I clear 1 point of stress, and I gain 1 and lose 1 from a surprise, a connection, a clue, and a convenient opportunity. I feel like, given what I just described, the thing that I gained is a connection with Des, maybe? Does that sound right?
I think so.
Okay.
Opinions. What should I lose from that list?
My thought would be either a clue or a convenient opportunity.
I think it's going to be convenient opportunity.
Okay.
But there's something I miss out on there.
Yeah, it's that we drive by.
So, Chris,
I was gonna say, is the convenient opportunity that you miss stopping Chris from going and doing the stupid shit she's about to do?
Oh boy.
Chris, You arrive at the volleyball house. I believe that was where you were going?
Yep. Chris gets out and opens the door, walks in.
Everyone's at classes.
Sure. She looks for Hazel's room.
It's there. It's not locked. It still has the pictures across the front.
She knocks.
There's no response.
And gently opens the door.
Her room is much as you remember it. There's her desk with her computer. There's her bed. There's the board full of photos that she's printed out on nice paper. There's a closet where a corkboard, now bare of pins or anything like that, is laying disused, put away.
In among the pictures, I know there's one of Chris and Hazel. Is there also one of Des and Hazel somewhere?
Yes. I think there's one of them on what looks like a stage full of musical equipment.
Are there any printed pictures of the team? That is the Winged Warriors of Winchester plus Hazel and maybe Faith. Chris isn't expecting Faith to be in these pictures.
I don't think there is.
Okay.
The picture of Hazel and Des seems to be taken as a selfie, but also sort of ambushing Des halfway through setting up some, like an amp or something.
Yep. Correct.
Very on point.
Yep.
I'm just curious, is Eliza in any of these photos?
No.
Okay.
And Chris can tell that none of these photos have been taken in the past few months. They're all older than that.
Chris picks up and pockets the picture of her and Hazel, the picture of Des and Hazel. And walks upstairs to grab the clapping gear. She texts Jesse and says, "Let me get cleaned up." She takes a little bit of time to reset herself there. Once she's cleaned up, she comes back downstairs and locks up and tosses the climbing gear in the back of the car. GM,
Mm-hmm.
would you allow me to use trying to find Hazel on her own with Jesse as the rash action to clear stress and conviction instead of going climbing?
That is very rash. Can you talk Jesse into it?
I guess we'll find out. Chris climbs into the car, and it is respect for Jesse and the fact that this is Jesse's car that stops her from just going right now.
You know, normally I'd be very cranky with you for missing classes, but I can't really talk right now, can I?
Yeah. Jesse, I don't know if I can finish this semester.
What do you mean?
I have to fix this first. Finals are like 2 weeks from now.
You think it'll take longer than that to fix this?
Even if it doesn't, that's a lot of studying time. But if I can get a head start today... Her life is more important than my grades, Jesse.
You think her life is on the line?
Her identity, at least. Her existence in the world. You heard my speech about the muscle memory thing. Are you okay if I try that now?
Fuck it, yeah. It's been a while since we've done something like this anyway. Let's go do something stupid.
Chris gets a grin on her face, and she turns on the car and pulls out of the driveway. And she's not going to close her eyes because that would be dangerous on top of rash, but she is going to let her muscles drive and see where they take her.
And I think that's a good spot for us to end this episode. Thank you everyone so much for listening, and thank you to my players. I look forward to seeing you all next time. Have a good night. Thank you again for joining us on this adventure. With Conviction is a production of Silver Maiden Games. If you would like to play Conviction, check out the game at silvermaidengames.itch.io. Music for the intro and outro of this podcast is A Soul with Conviction by Doom Vega, who you can find on Bandcamp. Music within the episodes is by Rachel Rose Mitchell, who you can find on Bandcamp and Spotify. All rights to the music are retained by their original artist. Production and editing are done by myself and the With Conviction cast. Thank you all. This would not be what it is without you. You can find this podcast on Spotify and YouTube or silvermaidengames.wordpress.com. You can also find more about the game, podcast, and ways to contact us at silvermaidengames.wordpress.com.